Since it's 7 o'clock, we're going to call the council meeting to order. Michelle, will you read the sunshine law notice?
This is a regular meeting of the Mayor and Council of the Borough of Freeport, Tuesday, February 7th, 2023. Let the minutes show that adequate notice of this meeting as required by Public Law 1975, Chapter 231, has been provided by the annual notice, which has been posted on the bulletin board filed with the Borough Clerk, and has been sent to the Asbury Park Press, the Independent, and the Star Ledger.
Michelle, will you do the roll call, please?
Councilmember Demarest.
Here.
Councilmember Riley.
Here.
Councilmember Vecchio.
Here.
Councilmember Pepperoni.
Here.
Councilmember McNamara.
Here.
Council President Davidson.
Yes.
Mayor Aranio.
Here.
And for the record, Borough Attorney Victoria Flynn.
Here.
Chief Torres.
Here.
And Borough Engineer Derek Houghton.
Here.
Thank you.
Will everybody join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Everybody please remain standing for a moment of silence for Councilwoman Eunice Dunpor, as well as New York City Police Officer Adid Fayez. I'm going to go right into the mayor's update. I attended the New Jersey Conference of Mayors in Trenton this past week. The main topic of conversation was the state health benefits increase throughout New Jersey. All mayors are concerned with the 23% increase, how it will affect their budget for 2023. Trenton and Newark have decided to go with private sector insurance, which they can as they are a large city. The smaller municipalities may not have that luxury, as private could be more expensive. With that being said, I'm making a recommendation to our new business administrator when they come on board to start speaking with a private insurance company to see if it's even an option for Keyport. However, we're going to need to explore this option to see if we can mitigate the cost to our employees and our taxpayers. I've also forwarded to Finance, which is Councilwoman McNamara and Councilwoman Riley, so you can check it out. We had a water main break. I'm sure everybody knows yesterday, well, the night before, Chief Torres and the police department, as well as DPW, and Derek from engineering. Derek will give an update on that.
And there was a water main break on Route 35. I believe it occurred Sunday afternoon around 4 o'clock. The DOT was notified. They came out and set up traffic control and shut down 35 while the repair was made. Sometime maybe late morning that Monday, they were able to open one lane of road on the shoulder to allow traffic. And by about 7 o'clock Monday night, the entire Route 35 was open.
Thank you. We're going to open it for public comment. Do we have a motion to open?
Motion.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Is there anybody that would like to speak from the rest? John?
John Merla, 34 Broad Street. On the resolutions, Resolution 2023-68 regarding the 9/11 dispatch services, have we gotten any feedback from police chief, fire chief, and first aid and EMS chiefs regarding how their experience was the last year with that interlocal?
Chief Torres, can you answer that?
Yeah, I can answer that now. We haven't had a previous conversation about this with the borough, but we have, on a day-to-day, we have a great relationship, and we like county dispatch right now. It alleviates a lot of issues for us, and we deal with the problem. Like if there's an issue, resident has an issue, report it, we deal with it immediately, and we report it up to them. There's a new undersheriff that oversees now county dispatch section. who is a local. He was a chief of Hazlet, now he's overseeing county dispatch, so it's very easy for us to have a connection and fix any issue that comes up. It'll be even smoother than the past.
You're just speaking for the police
Police,
department?
yep.
Okay.
And John, we don't have anybody here to speak on behalf of the fire department or first aid, but I'm sure that, we can address that.
Okay. The other thing is regarding Resolution 2023-70 and 71. Many times last year, this was brought up before the council, even the prior year, about surplus vehicles and getting rid of them. And I just want to applaud the efforts of Councilman Demarest. Guy's brand new, he's been here 5 weeks, and already he's taken the lead to get this stuff cleaned up, which has been neglected for the last 2 years. And I appreciate that because it's an eyesore, number one, and number two, I don't care what people say about those vehicles being under an umbrella insurance, we still pay for them. As long as there's plates on those cars, we pay for them as taxpayers, and I don't think it was right. Regarding Resolution 2023-73, the appointment of the Borough Administrator, I'll wait on that, but I do have some questions. I'll wait till after it's appointed. Under Communications 7 and 8, regarding Green Grove Avenue, 3rd and 2nd Street, can you just explain that before you vote on it? It doesn't really explain like what that is.
Which one are you looking at, John?
Communications 7 and 8, regarding Green Grove Avenue, 2nd and 3rd Street. That the county is going to do.
The county part, it already has stop signs,
Yes.
516. So when we put all the stop signs, the four-way stops in that part of town,
Yeah.
we deferred to the county to ask them before we put them
them
on
up.
2nd and
That's
3rd.
what I thought.
So we just had to wait as a
And we got that-
courtesy,
we
so
got
we
their
got the
approval.
okay to do it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Catherine.
Appreciate that.
Okay.
That's it. Thank you very much.
Anybody else? Mike Lane? Couldn't see him.
Michael Lane, 51 First Street, Newport. Good evening, Mayor, members of council. Just to reflect on a couple of things that John Morello mentioned. The four-way stops on Green Grove at 2nd and 3rd, fantastic. I think that's an example of how you can have a four-way stop in one block of another four-way stop. And I urge you to go back to the county to press for a four-way stop at the intersection of Broad and First. We've already knocked down 2 or 3 light poles on First Street for cars coming around that corner at such a high rate of speed, no traffic calming. And again, at the intersection of Atlantic and First, where the yacht club is, and you have all the children in the summer going to the sailing classes, and you have all the weekend and race activities. We need to, again, get with the county and get the four-way stops. I think it's fantastic, Green Grove.
Thank you. Derek, would you be able to reach out to the county on that?
Yes. Second thing is, on the disposal of property, it says an online auction. I just reflect on, and I don't do it, and I can't do it on, but the grandkids, it's amazing what they're able to sell on the internet and bring in a price that they set. And so I ask you to think about, since this is an opportunity for us to make money, is there another avenue other than an online app auction to work that problem? Thank you.
Thank you. Elmer?
Elmer, excuse me, Elmer J. Graham Jr., 22 St. Peter's Place. Good evening, Madam Mayor, Borough Council. Resolution 2023-72. Can you all explain that? What's that all?
Derek, you're
I'm trying to turn to it right now.
Okay.
Just so you know, he's just getting his feet wet.
That's okay.
Yeah,
He's
it's on the
new,
first
so-
page of the agenda.
Okay.
Yeah, I see here, I want to actually find the resolution is going to be a little bit more specific on what it is. But generally, it looks like you have, there's a sewer, a leaking spigot in the sewer, so it should be funds to repair that. Like I said, let's let me find the resolution.
What's throughout the whole sewer system with Keyport?
No.
No, I
Yeah,
think it was.
I believe it's a single home.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
it was one resident.
Actually, if I can explain it if you like.
Yeah.
Okay, the resident had a spigot that was leaking outside,
Uh-huh.
so they're asking for relief for the sewer portion of
Okay.
their water and sewer bill,
Okay.
since the water did not, it just flooded their property unfortunately, but did not go through the sewer, so.
Okay. All right. One more other thing. On Resolution 2023-68, which is good for consolidation and stuff. Is this gonna, hopefully this will benefit the taxpayers at Keyport in the long run?
Well, we've been using this for several years, if
Right.
I'm not mistaken, right?
Yes, we have. This is county dispatch.
Right. Okay. All right, well, thank you.
Thank you, Emma. George?
George Wellington, 4 Second Street. On the borough administrator that we're hiring tonight, do we know what the salary range is?
Yes, we do.
So, a contract has been drafted based, and will be implemented based on whatever decisions made today. Ms. Humphrey will be paid $145,500 per year, based on, the part of the year, that'll be her salary. And she'll be subject to annual increases, but that's based on performance evaluation conducted by the mayor, council, and
Well, I stressed to the council, Jay left at I think it was 130. You might want to consider why we're doing this at such a higher rate with everything that's going on within the tax rate of the borough anyway. Maybe higher for a 6-month review.
He was higher than that when he left.
Pardon me?
He was higher than the one.
How much was he?
He was at 135.5, and then he had a $4,200 a year stipend.
Okay, well, still lower than what she's making, or going to be making. When was the contract signed?
it's not signed.
Oh, okay. When was the contract drawn up?
Over the past few days.
Yeah, we just finalized it today.
Okay. Because there's nothing on the agenda until we're adding it on now.
Yeah, just so you know, the resolution reads that it directs the mayor to go ahead and have the contract executed thereafter.
Right.
Contract
I'm
wouldn't be
well aware.
executed until the action's taken by the
Yeah, I'm
council.
well aware how it works, but I stress to the council, really consider maybe a 6-month review after, see how it works out. Thank you very much.
Thank you, George. Anybody else? Close the meeting to the public?
Vote.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Does the council have any questions on any of the resolutions or anything that they need tabled? Okay. Do we have a motion to move forward with Resolution R 2023-66 through R 2023-73?
Motion.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. We're going to introduce the introduction of the 2023 Keyport bid budget, Resolution 2023-74. Michelle, you read that?
Point of order. There wasn't a roll call for the resolution.
Okay, thank you, John. Roll call, Michelle?
Councilmember Demarest,
Yes.
Councilmember Riley,
Yes.
Councilmember Vecchio,
Yes.
Councilmember Pepperoni,
Yes.
and Councilmember McNamara.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks, John. Introduction of the 2023 Keyport bid, introducing the KVVC budget for 2023.
Want me to read it by title?
Yes, just read that.
This is the Keyport Bayfront Business Cooperative 2023 budget.
Okay. Do we have a motion to adopt the resolution?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
You can do a roll call.
Councilmember Demarest.
Yes.
Councilmember Riley.
Yes.
Councilmember Vecchio.
Yes.
Councilmember Pepperoni.
Yes.
And Councilmember McNamara.
Yes.
Thank you.
Introduction of the ordinance revising the occupancy limitations in the boroughs, yeah, for the limitations of the borough's housing code. Do we have a
Mayor, excuse me, I apologize, but we need a motion to authorize me to publish.
Okay. Motion to authorize and make and publish.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. I'm new at this, everybody. Okay, introduction of the ordinance revising the occupancy limitations in the borough's housing code. Michelle, you want to read that?
This is an ordinance of the Borough of Keyport, County of Monmouth, New Jersey, amending and supplementing Chapter 12, Building and Housing, Article 2, Housing Code, Section 3, amendments of the revised general ordinances of the Borough of Keyport.
Motion to introduce.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
We should have a roll call, Mayor.
Yeah. Roll call. Michelle?
Councilmember Demarest.
Yes.
Councilmember Riley.
Yes.
Councilmember Vecchio.
Yes.
Councilmember Pepperoni.
Yes.
And Councilmember McNamara.
Yes.
Thank you.
Motion authorizing the clerk to publish the ordinance as introduced in the Asbury Park Press for public hearing.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Next, we have communication by consent for approval. Do we read each one of those, Michelle, or is it a total?
You don't have to. Do they have any questions?
Okay, any questions on it?
I just have a question on the one from the school. I don't recall what we did last year. I want to say that I think it was a half day.
It was a half
It
day
was,
last
yeah.
year.
Okay.
Yeah, is everybody good with that? Same? Um, 6 to 8 is to receive and file. Are there any questions on those?
I have a question on 6.
Okay.
I saw Mr. Lane is no longer on environmental. He was on at reorg, he was put on,
Mr. Lane's on environmental.
not on the borough website.
Maybe she didn't update it, Denise. He is on environmental.
Oh, so I thought maybe,
Mr. Pacheco is on environmental also because he is also on the planning board, so you needed a member on environmental.
so nobody came off,
No.
just added an extra person.
No, somebody did come on, yeah,
Well, that's why I'm asking, because Mr. Lane's name isn't up there.
but I don't know why it's not. I'll check with Denise.
Okay.
He should be up there.
Did anybody resign, or?
Somebody didn't renew. I'm not sure who it was. I'll have to go back and look.
I'm gonna sell tickets for comedy night.
Okay. That was the name I was missing.
Yeah. Any other questions? Okay, do we have the approval and receipt and file for communications? Motion?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor? Okay. New business, the charter boat lease. Oh, roll call, sorry about that. Michelle?
Councilmember Demarest.
Yes.
Councilmember Riley.
Yes.
Councilmember Vecchio.
Yes.
Councilmember Pepperoni.
Yeah.
And Councilmember McNamara.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, new business, charter boat lease. Councilwoman Vecchio?
Yes, I just want to relay the thoughts from the Harbor Commission, which are their recommendation is to extend the lease, which currently expires on April 30th of 2023, and they want to extend that through December 31st of 2023 at the current rate of $750 a month. They believe doing so would allow the current leasee to start booking charters and give us more time to work with the new BA to put together a bid package that would go out in the fourth quarter of this year, so that and they want to go with a 3-year lease, and that requires Green Acres approval, and they just want to have more time to do that, to have a 3-year lease and then have 2 one-year extensions. So the cost would be what they're paying now, which would be $750 for each month here through the end.
Is that what they're currently paying each month?
That is what they're paying now.
Any questions on that?
I mean, I know it has to go to Green Acres if we want to do the extended.
Yeah.
He's already getting requests for this coming season, and they think it would be better for us to do negotiating at the end of the year when it's not when his season isn't starting, and then we can get it all straightened out then.
I think that we should have the BA work with that when the new BA comes forward. Do you agree, Councilwoman?
And that would just be, that's the rate till the end of this year.
Correct.
That's
Yes.
what they're proposing.
Yeah.
Right.
And they probably should just give us updated insurance
Oh, yeah, they would have to give
to extend
it.
it.
Yeah, you have to.
Yeah.
Okay, any other questions? Okay, under new business was the agenda packet. It was discussed that, I did speak with Council President Davidson also, and she wanted to speak about what we should attach online as the backup. So in speaking with her and myself, we've decided that we're going to attach the backups to the agenda starting on the next council meeting. It will not be everything that's in the packet, but it will be enough to give you the transparency of what's happening with the resolutions and the ordinances.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay. Unfinished business. Currently, there's nothing listed under unfinished business, but I wanted everybody to know that going forward, this will be something that needs to be listed by the BA. It's important that everybody, the residents, and even us, we have something that's on the agenda and we keep either following through or keeps moving down. And I know that this has been a big topic going forward in the past for everybody, and I think it's really important that we have that. Okay. Dais update. Chief?
Yes, we hand out a flyer. If anybody hasn't received one, we have plenty of extra. It's Heart Health Month, February. So the mayor and the council has so graciously allowed us to present a heart exam. The truck will be on February 10th at 2023. It'll be parked at Fireman's Lot. When you get one of these flyers, and we'll post it on social media as well, you just scan this and it allows you to make your appointment on that day. They'll take as many as they get. If you make an appointment ahead of time, they'll have staff ready to do it. It's just a chance to get your heart checked very quickly without having to travel, without having to wait months for a special exam done. So if you'd like to participate, please sign up ahead of time. They will take walk-ins. Initially it was developed for first responders to prevent them from having heart issues, because as we know, we don't like to get checked. So please participate, and if you have any questions, you can see me after the meeting. Thank you.
Michelle?
I have nothing at this time, I think.
Somebody used to work with
No, nothing. Okay.
Triple button.
So then we're going to open public comment. Motion.
Second.
All in favor? Okay. Anybody have questions? Donna?
I do, Mayor. You said earlier, you know, when you were talking about the increase to the state health benefits plan or anything, I had heard that that does not fall for the state workers, it's just at county and municipal. Was there any discussion regarding that, like how they see that to be any fairness to the municipalities?
No, actually, every mayor had the same concern because it's going to affect everybody. And it's the employees, and even some employees get a double hit because they're an employee as well as they're a taxpayer. So if we have to raise taxes, they're going to get hit twice. So everybody has that same concern, and it is before the assembly, I'm sure.
Yeah, we've
It's been a big topic of discussion.
How do they say that it's fair? Yeah.
And we've received resolutions have been sent from all over the counties, every municipality, county, school, to the state saying you have to give some relief. Sadly, what they say in response to justification is that you could just raise your taxes. That's really it. Is to put it outside your 2% cap, which is not a really good answer.
No.
Yeah.
So, but I think everyone's trying to fight, like all the local towns, the PBA, everyone's on their back trying to, I think before like our last meeting, I was on the phone with the PBA rep for the state on this issue. They are fighting to try to get some type of relief for this, even using COVID money.
Yeah,
Right.
same thing.
No, we go cars instead. I do have a question regarding, the emergency blasts that go out every now and then from the borough. I don't know who puts them out or whatever, but regarding the water main, I wish that someone had put that out to, because at 1:30 this morning when I flushed my toilet, I thought my house was exploding. I had no idea what was going on, and I feel if a blast went out that, to the residents advising just to, be aware that when you turn your water on, you might get a lot of air going, a lot of, rusted water and whatnot. So I haven't received one of those notices in quite a while. I don't know, who dictates them to go out, but that would have been good had it gone out and I wouldn't have been so scared at 1:30 this morning. Thank you.
That's what that yellow was?
Michelle, you
Excuse
know
me?
who actually puts those blasts out?
We share the responsibility, depend on what the nature of the cause is. We've been sharing the responsibility. I think because of the transition we're in, it went on social media. We don't know that correlates at this point either. So I think that, we would have definitely had it out if we weren't in transition. We usually share the responsibility.
Thank you, Jean. Anybody else? Don't know your name.
Sorry, it looked like you were looking at somebody else. Patrick Maroney, 313 Main Street. Let's see, good evening, council and mayor. I just wanted to bring up again, as I did a few weeks ago, the issue of the water flooding the street corners. It seems like whenever we redo the street corners, if they're repaving a street, to meet the ADA guidelines, they often create low points that weren't there previously, and therefore the corners collect water and often make them impassable. Certainly while it's raining, and a lot of times, for hours afterwards, or even the next day. And it's not just rain; it's also sump pumps, right? So if there's a low spot in the corner and you got a bunch of sump pumps, it's been a wet week or whatever. I got pictures here, like, I don't know if my neighborhood is worse than, most in terms of drainage issues, and they might be, but,
Trevor, can you
just,
take one of them also?
yeah, I have actually 2 copies here. But, that's just, and there's 6 pictures there of intersections, and some of those are ones that were just done. And I was just talking to one of the crossing guards at Hurley and Broad today. Just, I was curious. Here. What do the kids do when it's raining and there's a big puddle? Well, it's like, they go out on the street to get around it, right? So that's not good. Like, that's actually creating a worse problem that was there before. I mean, I understand we need to comply to ADA standards, but I guess what I'm asking is, well, first of all, they did mitigate the issue at Broad Street in Jackson. I think the county came out, Kathleen shaking her head. Yep. The county came out and took out a strip of asphalt there and put in concrete so that they could make it so it drains off the corner a little better. It's not, when it's raining, there's still a big puddle, but at least after a couple hours, it drains away. So I guess my first question is, are there any plans to fix any other of the bad ones? I think at the last council meeting I was out, they were talking about, Maple and Broad, where the Mexican restaurant is. They made it real low. It's really bad. You cannot pass that. you know, I don't care if you're in a wheelchair, pushing a stroller, like, nobody wants to go through that. So, you know, I guess, it may, you know, and I knew that there's a new, you know, engineer here. So, you know, my question is like, you know, is there any creative way that we can get around this issue? I mean, ideally, we would have more drains, right? Like, that's a problem in Keyport, right? There should be a drain on every street corner, but, you know, apparently, yeah, that costs millions of dollars. So, you know, how can we fix this in another way? You know, like, how do we determine, I guess, first of all, if, you know, if there's going to be an issue, right? Like, shouldn't we be able to say, okay, well, we're replacing this street corner, and, you know, the water's flowing down, and that, you know, either it's going to flood this or it's not. And if our guess is it's going to flood, then let's get ahead of it and figure out how we're going to keep it from flooding. And that, it sounded like you wanted to say something. So.
And there's a lot of different solutions, and every intersection is configured differently.
Okay.
But I can tell I will be taking a look at these. Okay. Again, one of the issues with the drains is you don't want to put a drain at the ramp,
right? Which
is usually typically the lowest spot, and it's where the drain wants to be.
Yeah.
But there's ways we can look to correct this.
Okay, I appreciate that. I mean, I realize drains aren't a cheap way to solve the problem. I feel like there's usually not a budget for drains. But, you know, can I look at the last page on that? Because there's actually something I want to show you. So, like, what if, so there's these things where it's kind of like a slightly raised crosswalk, and there's a little gutter that goes under it, like in a grate, right? But that's kind of expensive, I guess. And then the other one would be like,
yeah, there's different ways to configure the ramps.
Most of them are like this, right? But if you put the ramps here and here, does that help? Because water usually collects here. Could you put the ramps here and here? I don't know.
Yeah.
You're the engineer.
I'm just the engineer. I'm just
keep
sure
it on
he's
your.
gonna be able to fix
I
it.
understand. I'm just
Also
asking, like.
check with Trevor, because I know that he was working on that also.
He'll
so-
check it out.
Yeah, and I put in notes because I know some of those are probably county roads and
Yes.
county improvements, so it'll be part of our meeting with them.
Thank you.
All right. Well,
Thank
thanks.
you, Mr. Morone.
Listen.
Anybody else? Andrew?
Andrew Kelsey, 29 St. Peter's Place, just to jump on the back of what Patrick had said. I mean, I had contacted several council members, the administrator provided pictures. I know at least 2 years ago, there's the ramp on the corner of Pershing and Main Street. That was an issue since that was put in, and nothing was ever done. That was kind of swept under the rug. So I don't know if our new members or our past members that are still on the dais here are planning to do anything, but it's ridiculous. And the issue is on most of these ramps is they're putting landings at the bottom. So all the water, it's basically level, so all the water drains in. I mean, there's definitely some of these older roads that have the extreme humps. It's very difficult to deal with that, but there's ways to do it where it's not so bad. I mean, we spent all this money on replacing existing ramps, and now they're worse. They're worse. So, and water and ramp is not ADA compliant.
Yep.
And I've said it 1,000 times, so I don't see how we've benefited. If the old ones weren't compliant, the new ones aren't compliant, except we spent a lot of money on the new ones. Whether or not it was the county, I mean, we fund the county as well. So, that's it.
Thank you. John?
John Morello, 34 Broad Street. Just to follow up to Patrick and Andrew's comments regarding the, you have to realize most of those depressed corners have only been put in during new road construction, county, borough. A lot of them were replaced and a lot of them were new. Some streets that never had flooding problems. So we created those. What we have to do is we have to look at a roadway project before we approve it and say, or is this the area that we want that, because we didn't have it before, and in order to be ADA compliant, if that water freezes and someone's trying to get up, all due respect, in a wheelchair, it can be very, very hard. You know, and then some of the intersections that the fellows related to by Andrew and Patrick's house, very bad, but the one by the restaurant up on Maple and Broad, that's atrocious. You do have to walk in the street if it's flooded. So it's something to look at in the near future too with new projects. My other concern is that we came in November, meeting myself, and I discussed this and it was referred to the prior administrator, Mr. Delaney, was the construction that's going on Broadway and East 4th, and West 4th, I'm sorry, and it was regarding the light that we needed to call the DOT to change that light because the bridge is still, you can't utilize the bridge coming into Keyport, but the light is still on. So that's an 18 to 22 second delay from people going on. People are trying to get used to now making the right. You made the right on Red for years, now you can't make the right on Red by May Street coming over the bridge into Madeline. So I think that they should look at that, and as they're looking at that, there's another light in town on Maple. If you're Maple and Broad, if you're coming up Broad Street, going towards the school and you're hitting that intersection, the speed limit's 25. How they calculate an amber to a green is you take half of the 25 is 12.5 seconds. The amber light to the red is going off in 4 seconds. And I'm very surprised no one's ever complained or seen it. I'm telling you right now that, so it goes from green to amber to red in 4 seconds. So in other words, somebody can go in through Broad Street and it's wrong. The calculation is wrong. And I sat out there today for 30 minutes just to make sure it wasn't just a fluke. It's 4 seconds, and it's wrong. And so DOT is going to have to be notified. The last issue I'd like to bring to the council's attention is for the last 2 years we've been talking about lighting in town. Very poor lit streets. Since January 3rd up until last week, we did a little survey, myself and another resident, driving through town. There's 118 streetlights out right now in Keyport. Either damaged or completely out, faded out. Parks, playgrounds, municipal properties, streetlights that were hit, poles that were never removed. There's one on Main Street. It's so old you couldn't even recognize it by the ball field. Main Street in Hurley, right by the skate park. There's a brand new one, and then off 10 feet is one into the weeds. We need a meeting, folks, with Jersey Central Power and Light. They need to come in, do an inventory, check these lights. When you put your budget together, it says street lighting. Okay, we don't get charged based on usage. We get charged based on poles. So if the lights are out, we must have just, get them fixed. Because that's a big expense to the taxpayer, street lighting. So their neighborhood should be lit. And I said it last year and I said it the year before. We need a meeting with Jersey Central Power and Light. There's some neighborhoods where there's a lot of senior citizens. There's other neighborhoods that need to be lit up. And, some poles, some lights barely are lit, but they're lit. A lot of our parks, there's lights on our waterfront that are out. Mr. Lane talked about Broad and First. 3 of those poles were hit. According to my what was said between myself and Mr. Delaney, the borough got paid for those that were hit, and they never replaced them. Thank you very much.
Thank you, John. Anybody else? Mr. Lane, Michael?
Public works, right?
Michael Lane. On the charter boat lease, there was extensive discussion at the Harbor Commission meeting to extend it 3 years plus 2, 5 years, which is great. But one of the issues that was key was that there has to be an inflation factor. With the inflation rate running 5 or 6%, the guy's going to get a tremendous discount 5 years from now if you don't have an inflation factor in the contract. And that was a recommendation from the Harbor Commission.
Okay, thank you.
The second item was the plan to provide the full agenda prior to the meeting. I think that's fantastic. I think what's interesting with Mr. Delaney going to Homedale, I looked at the Homedale website, and you can see all the resolutions back many years, full resolutions up on the website. And also, one of the things they do is they live broadcast their meetings, plus the borough administrator gives a monthly status report, which is really important. And, so I think moving forward, the direction you talked about is fantastic, and we need to fully implement it. The final input is with a new borough administrator, there's a number of in the unfinished business list and all the agendas is pretty much blank. And when you look at the situation, when Steve Gallo was here, he used to write a monthly status report where he listed all the unfinished business items. Some of the items just said nothing new to report. Others said we're making progress. But at least they didn't just go into the ether. They just didn't fall off the table. And I'll give you an example of a whole host of things that haven't had any status lately on. One is, if you look at the Mod 4 database, the zoning data is not in alignment with the new master plan zoning map. And so we have a whole set of areas in town where the zoning information is incorrect. And that's been brought up for more than a year or two. We have Bethany Manor, which sort of has gone into the ether. What's going on there? You don't have to answer this, but this is why we need a status report. The Pedestrian Safety Improvement Program got hung up with a Complete Streets program, which didn't go anywhere. Nothing happened. And the Pedestrian Safety Improvement Program, we haven't got the crosswalks yet on First and Broadway. And so again, we need, even if we just list these items so they don't look like they're falling off the table.
Mike, I agree with you, and that's part of what I had said earlier, is that all of those monthly, the unfinished business needs to be on there, and that will be on there with the new BA.
Okay. I'm going to send you an email.
Good, thank you. And I think I have the one that you sent a couple weeks ago.
Oh, I have a lot longer list.
That's okay.
A lot longer list.
That's okay.
And so I will copy that to all members of council. I'll probably also copy it to residents of Keyport.
Thank you.
Kelly? Hello everyone, Callie Lowe, 139 3rd Street. Speaking of an email, did everyone get my email?
Yes.
Okay, any updates on it?
All these are.
No updates yet on the camera.
Okay, I understand how busy everyone is.
I don't even think it's how busy. We're still going through some litigation with cannabis right now, and I'm not sure if we're ready to take on anything else at this point until we're ready, to speak with the cannabis committee, which is Kathleen. Kathleen, you want to speak on that?
Well, it's the same thing we've mentioned each time. We have ongoing litigation, and until both of those are resolved, we're not really ready to move forward. And before we do that, we're also going to review the process and the forms that we use. So, obviously, as you know, there was no input from the state along the way with this, so a lot of it was learn as you go.
Of course, that part I do understand. And I understand you're uncomfortable about this whole process considering what has taken place. But from my understanding, that one license has nothing to do with the other license.
and again, I understand that you're fearful to move forward, but I sit back and I listen to all of these problems in here, and I think that it's about generating more money. And I mean that respectfully. I just want to know that maybe you've opened up my email and reviewed my business plan?
Yes, I know I did.
Okay, thank you so much. And I think you're doing a great job, Mr. Rania. All of you. I appreciate your time.
Elmer?
Elmer J. Graham Jr., 22 St. Peter's Place. And my borough walks in the mornings, and I brought this up before. I noticed the condition of our sidewalks. I mean, for a small borough like this, there's no excuse on how our sidewalks, there's some cracks in them and everything like that, and it's been that way for quite a few years, and there's no excuse of the shape that the sidewalks are in. Is something finally going to be done about that?
Aren't the sidewalks the responsibility of the homeowners?
Yep, it's also, yeah, but you see cracks in the sidewalks. God forbid someone trips on that sidewalk. Could the borough be sued for that, or?
I think it goes back to the resident, the homeowner. So the homeowners are supposed to maintain their own property, and the property does include the sidewalks. So if there is one or a few that are really bad, then that's something that maybe code enforcement needs to take a look at.
Okay. Because God forbid someone, like I said, someone public member trips on it, and, you know, it could eventually affect all of us and stuff. Okay? And I know I've asked this again and again, Madam Mayor. We're going to get a Veterans Committee soon, right?
Yes, I actually have a meeting with the American Legion on March 3rd.
Right. Okay. And one more thing. We've had these meetings on Zoom before. I personally think they should be restored to be on Zoom again, because there's people that like to come to these meetings and can't afford to make it and everything like that. So it'd be nice if we put them, televise them on Zoom, live on Zoom too.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Andrew?
Andrew Kelsey, 29 St. Peter's Place. You know, the response that it's a property owner's responsibility to fix sidewalks is really unacceptable. It's been an issue for years. We all know this. Those cracked sidewalks have been like that for decades, right? And the town hasn't done anything about it. So the current situation, the current requirements of the homeowner repairing the sidewalks is not effective. They don't get repaired, and the borough doesn't force the homeowners to do it. Second, sidewalks are often replaced at the expense of the borough when they repave certain streets, right? So who benefits?
Not at all times.
It doesn't matter whether it's at the cost of the borough or there's a benefit from the federal government that gives grants to replace those. Right now, only those property owners benefit. If the borough,
Church Street, they just paved that and paved the rooms up.
you pay for it.
Paved the rooms
Okay.
up. And most of the people on the street.
Okay, but there's a lot of sidewalks here that got replaced without being
No.
paid for by the homeowners.
I'm just as aggravated as you. I don't.
Right, I know, I'm making the point.
Yeah.
That's what happens. So when those homeowners get a benefit and then somebody gets a notice on the door to repair their sidewalk, if that would ever happen, that's not equitable. When the borough takes responsibility for all the sidewalks, then when we get a grant, everybody benefits. And then we don't have broken sidewalks because the borough takes care of it. Right? And there's also the liability of having broken sidewalks to the borough. There's a lot of cities being sued for ADA violations because they have broken sidewalks and they don't fix them. So having an ordinance that holds homeowners' responsibility is not going to save the borough. It's only a matter of time. Nobody's winning those fights, as far as I can tell. They're mostly being settled because sidewalks are, a public facility. So, everybody complains. I don't know why the councils have repeatedly just done nothing about it. Whether it's enforcing the ordinance, providing means to help finance it for people that can't afford it out of pocket, or taking responsibility, which makes the most sense. Why isn't every homeowner responsible for paying for the street in front of their house? There's no different. Why is it if I walk I don't get the same attention as I would when I drive. We spend millions on the streets and nothing on the sidewalks. It's not sensible. And we know why we don't hold the homeowners responsible for the street. Because then we'd have potholes in our street, just like we have potholes in our sidewalks. So please take action.
Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor. Robert Olmack, 67 West Front Street. I'm just going to have a couple hats real fast. First, as the co-chair, thank you very much for moving forward on the charter boat with the transition within out of VA. To answer Mr. Lane's request, we did do emails as far as the insurance, the inflation factors, all that stuff was all in an email sent back to, I think Michelle got it, the final, our request from the Harbor Commission. It went to our secretary, so it wasn't 20 people involved. So that is being moved forward. Another thing with that is we're going to have Zoom for the next 2 months. The Harbor Commission, due to 2 of our members are away on vacation and without canceling the meetings, without a quorum, we were going to put them on Zoom. We worked fine at that, so that's just, some little notice.
Did you send an email?
Yes, Nancy was sent an email. I'm pretty sure she sent it. That's the other one I'm here for. It was supposed to be a letter from the Keyport Fire Department. I'm here, I'm changing hats now. Robert Olmack, the fireman. Regards to the Fireman's Monument, we're going to be holding inspection later this year, if you can mark your calendar, on May 20th at 4 p.m. We just ironed the date out. We do have a member that's going to have 70 years. I'm doing all I can to try to get a lot more recognition for somebody doing 70 years, and this guy does everything, still. So that's going to be one. Another one is I'm asking
Send
for.
an email also on that.
We're going to send the whole letter. There should have been a letter here with that on it, but the date just got straight. The biggest thing is I'm here for. I handle the Fireman's Monument. Been taking care of it for 15, 18 years. We recently had a fireman die in the line of duty death. We currently have one headstone that is a monument to Jacob Laird, who died in 1889. Well, currently we're going to add a second headstone. So basically it's just a verbal, I'm asking you, we're going to do a change in the thing. I did speak to the NPP because I know they just put a lot of money in there in the things. I did speak to her. But we're going to add a second headstone, change some pavers, move some stuff around. I will, work with the landscaper in town who did do the landscape, and I don't want to screw up anything that there's underground. But there are some conditions of the sidewalks there and curbage that we'd really like to see if the borough would address. The curbs are totally gone from snow plowing, and then on the sidewalk section, there's several areas like where a tree was taken out, and it is a tripping hazard. So I'd like to see if, the borough work with us. I mean, we're not looking to incur, we do have some funds, so we're going to incur most of the stuff for the monument, but like the curbing and sidewalks would fall under the borough. Okay. But mainly, I just want to make sure we're okay with moving forward. The letter should have been here. That was the biggest thing.
Yeah, I don't have any letter. Can you follow up on that?
Yeah, we just want to get started because this is really going to be a quick, move forward and respect, our fallen firefighter. I looked real fast, but I couldn't find it, but there is a law, just to answer some questions with the crosswalks. This came up back with Steve Gallo days. There is a law, you can't put a storm drain directly in a crosswalk with openings due to wheels of wheelchairs, scooters, stuff like that. Walkers, they would fall into the holes of the thing, so it's within so many feet of a crosswalk. This is probably about a 5-year-old issue, so it's never gone away either. But you can't put a drain to get rid of the water in the crosswalk. That's what somebody was asking 5 years ago. And I remember that was brought up. And the last thing is with the chief with the heart saving thing, go to it. It saved my life 6 years ago. I wouldn't be standing here. It was a free screening. I was perfectly healthy. I'm on 5 pills. I have a defib pacemaker due to a free screening. So thank you, and you're doing a great job. Thank you.
Okay. Anybody else? Dan?
Jack Straub, 225 Main Street. 2 things on Mr. Graham's suggestion about Zoom meetings. I know there are pros and cons with the Zoom, but maybe we could look into doing live streams. Homedale live streams all their meetings. If I'm on their Facebook page. You get a notice 15 minutes before the meeting. It's very easy. Watch on your phone. So we know somebody in Homedale now. Maybe we can find out how they do it. Maybe it's cost effective. Maybe we can look into that. That might even be better than Zoom. And then the other thing is, I want to thank you for finally addressing the agenda packet and putting the information online. As you know, I've been one of many people asking for the past year for it to be done. So thank you for finally making that happen.
Thank you.
for dwelling for Second Street. Did we change the agenda around? Because the last paragraph I got right here, it says public comments.
So that's what we're doing now.
Oh, okay, so all this wasn't.
What? It was public, that's what we're doing now.
We're doing public comments now. All right, I didn't know we changed the agenda.
Did we change it, Michelle? No, it's always been public at the end, right?
This is the end already?
Yeah. Hours.
Please accept my apologies. I didn't realize that. All right, let's go back to the new borough administrator. Did everybody get a resume for her?
Yes. Yes.
When did you guys receive that?
More than that. I don't know the exact date.
Here's the dates you did introduce.
We introduced it January 23rd. Is that when we received it? Yeah, it was before that. I can get you the actual date. I don't have it. written.
Okay, and how many applicants did we have?
4.
4? Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Anybody else? Okay, before we close
I can second this one.
to the public, I just wanted to introduce our borough administrator, Kimberly Hughes, to everybody.
Hi, everybody. Very nice to meet everyone.
Okay, motion to close to the public?
Motion.
Second. No. All in favor? All in
Aye.
favor? Motion to adjourn.